We've got some updates in the second shooting, the one that happened in Dayton, Ohio. I also want to highlight some reporting from a Buzzfeed reporter that's debunking a lot of the fake news that's going around the internet. Twitter is great for some things, it's really bad for others, and there's a lot of fake news flying around. Now, I do have to somewhat fact check this Buzzfeed reporter, but for the most part, credit where it's due. This is Jane Litvinenko, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, who did a huge breakdown of a bunch of fake posts, and we'll go through it. So excellent work to Jane for calling these fake bits out and doing that groundwork. The first update we have is the Dayton mass shooting suspect identified as 24-year-old Connor Betts. Look, man, there's a lot of people arguing whether the people should be named and shouldn't be named. I don't know what the right answer is. What I can say is there's one argument that by not showing them, the media can put out whatever message or narrative they want. Others claim it's going to glorify this. I honestly don't know. The New York Post is reporting it. They had one of the first stories revealing the person's identity. And I think trying to understand the motives is extremely, extremely important right now as we're trying to grapple with the rise of like white identitarian, white nationalist terror. I don't know what you'd want to call it, but El Paso was certainly, we believe this guy's manifesto was real. For the most part, we don't know for sure. It's being cited by everybody, and it was definitely like this call to not necessarily white nationalism, but bordering on, for the most part, calling immigrants invaders and things like that. It's a complicated ideology that I think is founded in misinformation, ignorance, fear, and a lack of purpose. So, let's just read this news and try and go through some of the fake news, and then I've got some other stories for you coming up. They say the body armor-clad gunman who fatally shot 9 people in Dayton, Ohio, has been identified in a report as Connor Betts. He was 24, was shot dead by police moments into his rampage. Was identified as the shooter by CBS News, citing law enforcement sources. They say Betts, 24. Investigators were tossing Betts' home in Bellbrook, Ohio, about 15 miles southeast of Dayton. 9 people were killed, 26 people injured. I also want to stress that they do not have a motive for the attack, and that he did apparently kill his own sister and I believe her boyfriend. So there's like a big update. I don't have that pulled up right away, but this doesn't seem to be, at least for now. I know earlier today I did make the assumption this was going to be like a standalone complex. The concept, for those that are familiar, is different people acting in a similar way that are unrelated, giving the impression of a coordinated effort. I believe that was accurate in this instance, that his motive was not related to, at least for now we don't know, but it doesn't seem to necessarily be identitarian ideology for the most part. The killing of his sister, it may just be another mentally ill, crazy person who's suicidal. But then again, I'm not entirely sure. What I want to do is, again, giving all the credit to Jane for highlighting a lot of these fake posts and doing the groundwork on this one. Jane Litvinenko over at Buzzfeed compiled a series of tweets showing the fake news that's going around. I do have criticism of one of those posts, but let's read through this. Jane says, I'm monitoring the shooting in El Paso, Texas for fake reports. This is from yesterday going into today. So I want to go through this and kind of break down some of the misinformation that she's highlighted. She says, be mindful of far-right accounts spreading rumors about the identity of the suspect. Many are saying without evidence the shooter was Antifa. Right now, there's no information to that effect. Well, we now know a lot more about the El Paso shooting. So that's the first. Multiple people are trolling with fake identities of the shooter. This happens all the time. They always say it's like Sam Hyde or other people, and they'll superimpose his face. A lot of people go into trolling and putting up fake news, I gotta stress. They say, this is not true, according to a Breitbart report. When asked about the motive of the shooter, so this is from yesterday, but I think it's really important to stress. A story was going around, of which I even retweeted, where journalists were saying police confirmed it was gang-related terror. There were reports that there were 3 people. Then we saw, so this from Breitbart, while it is incorrect, at the time was considered to be correct by many people, I retweeted a reporter, a local journalist verified with a local station, saying the police have confirmed this. That's the best we can do, right? But understand this information changes. I removed the retweet, and the person eventually deleted the tweet. I'm not sure if Breitbart took it down. We also saw some fake images where people were claiming there were like a group of people storming the mall or something, or the Walmart. Jane says the police have ruled out the possibility of multiple shooters. Rumors are spreading on Facebook, Instagram, and messaging apps. As of right now, police are ruling out multiple shooters. A Gamergate troll just called KTSM station to troll them about the shooting. Who on earth would do this at a time like this? Fact check here for Jane. There is nothing to indicate it was a Gamergate troll. I don't understand why they're using this narrative. It doesn't make sense. The person did say gamers rise up and then blamed African migrants and named 8chan. That doesn't necessarily mean it has anything to do with any ideology or any group. I'm confused as to why Jane did this. This is a bad fact check if you were to ask me, but we'll carry on. She goes on to say that the reports of gang-related terror was eventually removed, and this is correct to the best of my understanding. Somebody photoshopped an image of Sam Hyde's face on the shooter's body, and I gotta admit, it's really well done Photoshop. Totally fake though, okay? People do this all the time. She goes on to say there's a unverified name of the suspect floating around. Now, I want to go through this very quickly because I want to get to the more up-to-date stuff. This is really important because this is still going around. Number 11, an unverified photo has not been reported elsewhere. Image itself is old. Anonymous account provides no proof it came from the suspect. Do not spread. Verified accounts are spreading an image where Trump is spelled out with guns and saying it came from the El Paso shooter. This, to the best of my understanding, is not true. You can do a reverse image search and see this image is really old. And even Buzzfeed now saying there's no evidence to support this. Now, here's another fact check I got to do on Jane. Again, look, I want to give credit to Jane for doing this round of debunking. A lot of it's sound and very important work. But I do have some criticism. One, the Gamergate troll, like that doesn't seem to make sense. You could call the person a white nationalist troll. We don't know who the troll was. It was just a troll. We can see this here. There's a post from The Blaze. Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick has powerful warning for Antifa after El Paso mass tragedy. Said there's no evidence that anti-fascist activists had anything to do with the shooting today, which is what The Blaze and Dan Patrick are implying. No, they're not. BuzzFeed, you are wrong on this one. Okay? There is an event being planned for El Paso called a border resistance. This has been reported by other outlets. There are flyers going around. If it's not confirmed, fine, but the flyers are going around and they're saying, look, we just had a tragedy. Don't come here. Okay? Texas Lieutenant Governor warns Antifa to stay out of Texas in wake of Walmart shooting. Blaze is not implying anything, and they're not wrong. They are quoting a politician who is saying we don't need this right now. Guys, this is not a fact check. This is wrong. Now, this is actually really important. Don't fall for the troll campaign to say the El Paso shooter was a registered Democrat. The screenshots are from a website anyone can edit. Here's what the page looks like right now. So this is, why did it just do that? Okay. So this has been going around, and a lot of people are sharing this. It is wrong, and I want to make sure I stress this. There are a lot of websites that anyone can edit, and this site gets cited all the time. He's a registered Democrat, Mr. Buttplug, they say. However, someone edited it. Hello, I am editing your internet. Get off this webpage and find a reputable source. Do not trust these weird screenshots. The most important thing I can say, when stories like this happen, you cannot just look at screenshots and assume they're true. This is what makes things very, very difficult in the internet era. So let me stress this, for instance. What activists do when they want to spread misinformation, be it left, right, top, down, religious, whatever, is they'll screenshot something so you can't track down the source. They make it extremely difficult. They're creating barriers and obstacles so people can't figure out what's really going on. The left does this with tweets of mine. They will crop out the actual tweet and change the context on purpose so that people can't actually go and see it, or they won't know where it came from, thus spreading misinformation. We can see this happening here once again with the left. They don't know what the source of this is. They are just spreading fake news. We need to make sure, I understand everybody wants to help. Unfortunately, there are people who are willing to take advantage of the confusion, the fog of war, to spread fake news, okay? This photo with the guns shaped like Trump, shaped to spell out Trump, not real, very old, but people will screenshot it and share it. We also see screenshots of text messages and other things like this. I don't know what to say, but I can stress two things. Like, I want to make sure I give credit to the journalists like Jane who are aggregating this information, but also point out that her own bias creates more misinformation. I don't know what the solution is, okay? But The Blaze was quoting somebody who actually said something, period. It's real. He said this. It's reported by numerous outlets. Referring to the troll calling NBC News and getting it on the air as a Gamergate troll, once again spreading misinformation and sowing division. I don't know why you included Gamergate in this. That makes no sense. And all that does is it's going to get more people on the left going, aha, Gamergate, we knew it. We don't need this right now, okay? It was a troll. That's it. But I'm gonna wrap up there. I'm gonna do a longer segment on the Antifa stuff, explaining what's going on and why, and what we can expect for this and in the context of this. So stick around. I got a couple more segments coming up for you in a few minutes, and I will see you shortly.